Previously on The Challenge, Rivals 3.
I believe Simone's really fake, and she keeps saying, I'm doing this for camera time, when everyone in this house knows that Simone is the biggest camera whore.
Vince is acting like he is the king of all kings.
Come on, man. Come on, swim over here and get this for me.
You need to stop walking around like you're God's gift to this planet, because you're not.
How are they not embarrassed?
I'm a baker, not a robber, babe. And I'm I don't give a fuck.
Coming off one of its strongest episodes of this season, MTV's The Challenge Rivals 3 had quite an act to follow this week. And it not only matched expectations, it exceeded them, and then some. The strongest episode of the season thus far, the challenge itself this week was stellar. There was plenty of drama in the house, and a lot of the cast shared screen time, for better or worse on their part, this episode. A solid A grade this week, MTV. My name is RiverCity Clement, and I am your host for this week's installment of our latest series here at the Baker's Dozen podcast, Rise to the Challenge. We're breaking down episode 6 of this season, smack at the midpoint right now, for MTV's The Challenge Rivals 3. The episode aired Wednesday night, June 8th, and we're dropping this latest episode on Friday the 10th, less than 24 hours from my 33rd birthday. Yay for me, right? I really enjoyed just about every aspect of this week's episode, and I will gladly sit down and watch without my laptop or any notes necessary with my fiance tonight and enjoy it again. So let's jump straight into my quick hit thoughts for this week's episode, and also induct our 4th female and 8th overall member to the BDP Challenge Hall of Fame. You ready to do this? Because here we go. If you've been listening to this series, you know our quick hit style for these episodes. And if you're new, well, it's pretty damn simple. Whenever you hear this sound, it means we finished that thought and we're already on to the next one. On to the next one. Definitely sounds like a good theme to be used on this podcast, right? Enough of that though. Hey, let's do this thing. First up, it's Previously On, and it's the typical short clips you'd expect from last week's vastly improved episode. You got Jessica and Johnny Riley's third straight challenge performance dud. You got Ashley and Simone drama galore. Corey's bold nomination decision to put in Tom and Simone. The return of the Replacements 2.0, Devin and Cheyenne. And finally, Jessica and Johnny Riley's expected exit, as they were soundly defeated by Nelson and Amanda in the jungle. Caught up now? Yeah, me too. As for what to expect on tonight's challenge episode, well, there's going to be some nudity, well, blurred nudity, with some sort of naked power walking related challenge. Meanwhile, you got Tom yelling at Bananas and Vince. You got Tom receiving a call about an emergency room visit for what I assume is somebody he knows back home, and then a chair kick. The chair kick ending this montage? Wow, powerful stuff. Quickly into this, it's our first side note. You notice how there's no formal intro to this season? No weekly introduction of the cast, theme music, or any of that. And I, for one, like it. We know who the cast is after 2 or 3 episodes, and then it becomes redundant. Especially because it takes a minute plus away from the episode, and anybody who binge watches any previous seasons, whether it's on Amazon or Dailymotion or YouTube, you know you want to skip that intro every single time. And for challenge junkies, the best intro in years past has to go to Free Agent Season 1. It had this goofy video game-esque, featuring a lot of physical features, but I loved it. And it just edges out Cutthroat, who had a pretty solid intro themselves. Either way, I'm not missing it this year. Back to the show itself, I always enjoy an intro at the club, especially when Christina's making out with some random girl. Didn't seem like it was anybody on the cast, but Christina's got some appeal, and I just don't know what it is. Can't put my finger on it, and I think she's on borrowed time, so I guess there's no use worrying about it too much. But still. Uh-oh. Here's our first sound effect of the episode, which means one thing and one thing only. Crush alerts. Yeah, not just an alert, but multiple crush alerts. So, let's run the gauntlet quickly and see who's in the money this week. First up, Corey and Cheyenne. Well, apparently Camilla is rooting for it, so there's that. And while Cheyenne might not be rooting for it just yet, it's only going to be a matter of time until she ends up cuddling with Corey, or so he hopes at least. Next up, Ashley and Tony, because of course they're next up. I mean, as Tony said, they're just two sexual human beings in the end. Look, this is a perfect fit for a reality couple too. Seriously, book them the 10 p.m. time slot as soon as this season of Rivals 3 is over. Tony and Smashley. Boom. Even got a title for you, MTV. And last, Peter Pan and Tinkerbell. Wait, Peter Pan and Tinkerbell? What the hell? Oh wait, that's the code name apparently for Camilla and Devin. Yeah, Devin. Looks like it turned from a crush alert to a legitimate hookup alert by Night's End as well. We need some new music for that type for next episode, don't you think? And of course, right on cue, Jamie's self-appointed protector, Simone, well, she doesn't approve of Ashley and Tony. And I could care less. I approve this hookup. Simone, do not ruin Tony and Smashley, the TV hit. Surprisingly, though, Tony and Ashley both claim it was just a PG-type experience, which I actually tend to believe because Tony's the classic exaggerator, and even he can't stretch this out. Either way, Jamie has had enough with Ashley. Good for him. It's not the right fit. Tony and Ashley, Tony and Smashley show, book it. Seriously, now. Book it, MTV. Get it on the lineup. It's gonna work. It's an early start into the episode for the actual challenge event this episode, which I love. I absolutely love it. We're 6 minutes into the episode, and that means that the challenge is going to take some time, be filled with some competitive drama as well, and everybody's going to enjoy that. But I have to ask, which camp are you in? Do you watch this show largely for the challenges and eliminations, maybe deliberation drama, or do you just solely watch for drama between the cast, which includes hookups and fights and verbal altercations, and of course plenty of tears? I know everyone wants a balance, but if you were leaning one way, 40 minutes as opposed to 20 minutes, where are you at? This week's challenge event has a simple name and a simple premise. Would you rather? It's 5 stations with 2 tasks at each station to choose from. Each team picks a task, which they must complete together in order to earn a token. Once you make your decision, you can't change your mind either. After each stage, you hang up your token until the first team has 5 tokens and wins. This event appears to be as much about stamina endurance rather than just the decision you make. There's a good amount of running up and down hills with steep walls to climb too. I mean, honestly, this is like a diet first stage of the final elimination challenge. It's very creative. And I'm excited to see all 5 stages and the decisions you have to make at each one. Stellar start for this episode, folks. Stellar. Second side note, TJ, he's wearing a Muhammad Ali People's Champ t-shirt. Awesome, TJ. Awesome. Stage number 1, eat brains or eat balls from a cow. Man, Jenna and food. Good luck, girl. Flashbacks galore, right? Dario lets us know, fortunately, that brain is slimy and gooey with a terrible texture. Thanks for the update, Dar. Seems to be 50-50 split on teams taking brains and teams taking cow balls. I wouldn't want to have to choose, but if I had to, I'm not eating brains. Let the gagging and puking ensue, as just about every team is struggling mightily to put the food down. This is going to affect them in the later stages, I feel like, too. This is a tough first step. And if you have a weak stomach as a viewer, fast forward through this stage. It's not pretty. But after the first round, Jamie and Kellyanne, and Vince and Jenna. Yeah, Vince and Jenna, they're in the lead. Although I'm not surprised, honestly, because Vince can put it down. Stage number 2, reel it in or rock it out. Can you lasso a hook connected to a canister and then drag that canister across a line? Or can you throw 5 rocks on top of a canister and make them land without bouncing off? Looks to be a good 10 to 12 feet away for both, which is longer than you think. I gotta think you go rocks just for the number you can throw and still miss, I'd say. Plus, who the hell lassos? It's another version of beer pong if you think about throwing those rocks too. Nate and Christina, they're struggling. I mean, they go lasso, and it's a disaster. And remember, once you commit, you can't change. Now, Christina actually lands it after multiple tries, so props to her, but Nate, not so much. Meanwhile, Kellyanne and Jamie and Wes and Nani, they're burying themselves as neither can lasso a damn thing. And then Devin and Cheyenne realize this is just beer pong. So I'm going to stop with my crickets for them, at least for the rest of the episode. Okay, that was the last one, I swear. Stage number 3, Would you rather be sleepy or be tired? And it's really asking, would you rather carry a queen-size mattress or 5 different tires? It's a pretty tough choice. You have to imagine that you have a 100-yard or so incline with 7 or 8 walls you have to climb throughout that each look to be 8 to 10 feet tall themselves. Man, this is as cool an environment for any challenge as I've seen in years. It's good to get a break from water-related challenges, too. They've been a little too heavy this season. So while you're tossing either a queen-size mattress, which if you've ever moved before, you know what that's like, or 5 tires, look, this just looks brutal. And this type of terrain with these walls, it'd be hard without tires or a mattress. And in the Mexican heat, it's going to make things tougher. Seriously. I don't want to be too repetitive, but this is a damn impressive challenge. We have come a long way from humping soap, haven't we? Stage number 4, it's puzzle time, wooden tangram puzzle time. An MTV challenge staple since the beginning of the show. And would you rather build a bridge or build a house? Look, that's not the point. It's the puzzle. And these are much harder than they look, folks. Trust me, I know firsthand. Either your brain can do these instantly, or you may never finish them. Now, puzzles may be Johnny Banana's kryptonite, but guess who loves them? His partner, Sarah. Hashtag upcoming champions. Vince and Jenna, they're stopped just as they get to the puzzle because somehow they grabbed the wrong mattress, which means they got to go back. Which, being the only team that picked a mattress, Jenna says it's a Jenna and Vince move, and I tend to agree. But that's also a Clement move. You know, I know myself, and that sounds like something that I would have done. Meanwhile, Sarah builds the house puzzle in no time, and Bananas wisely destroys it so nobody can copy it. Hashtag learning. Nicole and Dario, they built theirs in 5 seconds, so wow. Tom and Simone, well, look, they're not a legitimate threat because Simone won't allow them to be a legitimate threat, but congrats on the puzzle. Meanwhile, Jamie and Kellyanne, they're performing horribly. Wes and Nani are lacking. And suddenly those two teams seem a little disappointing. And whereas I believe Wes and Nani can perform in the end, I'm starting to think that Jamie and Kellyanne are more dead weight. Look, Jamie, I like him, but he is not repeating as a challenge champion. There's not going to be a 2 for 2 for this prison guard. And somehow in the midst of all this chaos, Nate and Christina lost one of their tokens, and good luck finding it too. That ain't happening. And they pretty much have just buried themselves for this challenge, and they're automatically jungle bound because they're going to finish last. By the way, that's the total Clement move. Definitely once packed the keys to my U-Haul when I was moving. Yep, Clement moves. Last up is stage number 5. Eat a birthday cake or wear your birthday suit, which is what it sounds like. You got to eat like a whole sheet cake or finish the course legitimately fully naked. Pretty much power walking or jogging through public. And MTV knew that these maniacs would do that from the start, didn't they? Let the blurry goodies and bits, well, covering up, convince. And everyone seems more than ready to get naked. Sarah and Bananas lead the way. Props. Tom's dad bod is on display. It's an easy laugh. For the first time this season, but not the last, Bananas and Sarah win. Importantly, Sarah pushes through her biggest perceived weakness. No, her biggest actual weakness. And that's anything with real endurance. And she shows some true stamina and long-distance capability. It's no final challenge, but it's a good step, if only to encourage your partner. Near the end, Corey's talking about being a grower versus a shower, which makes me wonder, do girls understand how that principle works? Anyways, Wes, the pale rider, he's near the bottom. And by the way, you need sunglasses when this guy's running without his clothes on. I mean, he's elimination bound, but man, get some color on your body, bruh. Back to an important issue that I think is a little forgotten. Christina believes that her key was taken, whereas Nate thinks it was lost. So what happened? Something smells a little fishy. This story isn't done, not by a long shot. Stay tuned. Once everyone is back in the house, Sarah and Johnny have been trying to hash things out. You know what? I'm not going to do it this week. I wrote it out. I'm not going to do it. They might have moved on from it. Bananas. Stop, dude. Breathe, Clement. We're not going to do this. We're not going to bring this up. We're not going to talk about the constant whining. Woosah. Man, we're 35 minutes in and a ton of stuff has happened in this episode. We got a ton more to go, no doubt about it. This is the best episode of this season so far by a long shot. Although I suppose the drama lovers want some more of that, and with 25 minutes to go, they're going to get it. So the question now becomes, who's going to the jungle this week? And Bananas and Sarah, they're in the alliance business, and there are plenty of deals to be made. So first up, the pair decides to make an alliance with Are You the Ones, Nelson and Amanda. And as I've said before, Nelson is a challenge keeper. In fact, I think he's the next Johnny Riley. He's going to make alliances with veterans, and he's going to become part of the favorites of the old guard. Apparently, unbeknownst to me, though, Devin is a potential power player, especially from the Are You the One crowd, which has no alliance to be spoken of. And with Brianna gone, nobody's going to complain about it. So, Devin and Cheyenne are looking to make an allowance, and Bananas and Sarah want some insurances, and then some. And Devin, he's offering the moon. He's offering to squash his alliance with Wes, and do whatever it takes for him and Cheyenne to move along, which is smart. I'm not a Devin and Cheyenne guy, but this obviously means that Wes and Nani, they're directly on the chopping block. And with Wes and Bananas' ongoing rivalry since the dawn of the challenge, well, Devin, you might as well make advantage of the situation. Drama time, and it starts around a beer pong table. Fantastic, because I have been there a few times myself. Tom is a shit talker when he's playing, and that's lame. You don't do that when you're playing beer pong. But he's going at Vince. And for once, I'm on Vince's side. And Vince, after Tom starts calling him out, says, "Hey, call me a bitch one more time. Thomas, just a little heads up, buddy. This is a situation that's not going to work out for you." Unless Thomas is simply trying to bait Vince into hitting him, and thus getting Vince and Jenna kicked off, which is a lame move. You don't win challenges that way. And while Vince isn't looking to brawl or straight up fight, instead he just plants Tom on his back on a table and basically pins him down for a few seconds. It's a show of size and strength. 2 big points though. Vince won't be sent home for this. He's going to get a warning. But you don't really accomplish anything, especially with greater size and strength. Plus you know the game that Tom's trying to play. Meanwhile, Bananas, Vince's cousin and guardian ad litem, he isn't pleased with any of this. Tom is poking the bear, the Bananas bear. And Tom, all you're doing is guaranteeing your spot in the elimination with all of this. A week after Simone did it, now you're doing it. News memo to you both. You don't tempt the challenge gods this often, especially when you're not a really strong team to begin with. The next day, before it's time to officially nominate teams, TJ does give the warning to Vince and the whole cast, all the one they gave to Tony, his brother, last year, which basically is, if you kids don't knock this off, I'm turning this car around and we're going right back home. And I'm starting to wonder if there's going to be a fight at all this season, which I guess is for the best, I suppose. Hopefully you know what that sound means. A twist from TJ. Turns out Christina was right. Somebody took her and Devin's token, putting them automatically in last place. And furthermore, the team that did it is automatically going to the jungle. Christina and Devin are safe unless they're nominated. Now we have some legit drama going on. And after the commercial, or fast forwarding the DVR, we got to figure out who did it. And it was Tony and Camilla. And Camilla, right on cue, loses her damn mind. Less than half a second after this is unveiled. Camilla saw a token on the ground, thought it might be hers and Tony's, and picked it up. Then Tony told her later that he had theirs, so she tossed it aside. I don't know if there's malice in this decision, but never mind the fact that TJ asked the entire cast if anyone remembered a misplaced token or taking the wrong one, because Camilla never uttered a damn word. Why would you just toss an extra token and not account for it when asked later, when you're being filmed the entire event with multiple cameras? You know what? I'm going to stop again, woosah, because there's no use fighting logic. And when Camilla gets upset, logic didn't exist in the first place. And also on cue, Camilla wants to go. But that's only a reflex, because she isn't quitting. But she and Tony, they're in the jungle automatically either way. And no hissy fit, no matter how Hall of Fame worthy it is, ain't gonna fix it. And the question becomes, who will be their 2 potential opponents nominated by Bananas and Sarah? So Wes hates Bananas' speeches when he nominates people. You know who else does? Me. Wes and Nani are going in, and it's no surprise with that rivalry. Nani's remarkably calm, though. She's focused this year. She knows she's run out of time, and she's got to have a plan. And then Tom and Simone, to nobody's surprise, they're also going in. Simone knows why. It's what Tom did last night. What Simone fails to realize is she's just as much of a reason most weeks for them to be nominated.
I don't give a leave me alone. Have a great time in Miami, because we're going to be done. We're done right now.
Like, legit, at tonight's events, like, I'm done. Because, like, literally, I didn't do anything to the kid. I'm done.
And there's Camilla channeling her inner Sammy Sweetheart of Jersey Shore again. Tony's had enough of her, and you know what? I have for this episode, too. And it's Camilla that kicks the chair. It's Camilla that kicks the chair.
Tyson Austin! Tyson Austin! All hell has broken loose!
Mystery solved, cue the waterworks. Poor chair. Unfortunately, in some actual legitimate news, Thomas's girlfriend lets him know that she's going to the emergency room. Last commercial break. So, seems pretty serious, and you immediately have to wonder, is Tom going to choose to go home to be with her? And checking the clock, we only have 3 minutes left in this episode after the last series of commercials, so there's not going to be an elimination today. Or so we think. And when we get back from commercial, we're straight in the elimination round in the jungle. There's a time crunch, but I'm okay with that. It's been an unbelievable episode. But Tom and Simone aren't in their gear. They're going home. Tom's girlfriend's got medical issues. He's got to leave. Simone understands. And props to MTV for not dragging this out. Would have been really insensitive. Look, everybody's classy. Complete respect surrounding this. Good luck to Tom's girlfriend. Hope everything's okay by now. He did the right thing. Simone acted the right way. MTV, the entire challenge universe, we handled it well. And yet after Tom and Simone leave, tonight we're still having a jungle elimination. Surprising, but fantastic. Look at this matchup. Nany and Wes versus Tony and Camilla? Stacked. And it's still relatively early in the game. Oh wait, the skull thing. We won't be seeing a challenge tonight, but maybe next week? Well, if you think about it, it's a 75% chance we don't see it, which is a mini bump. Wes pulls out a white skull, Nany pulls out a white skull, no elimination tonight. And not only are Wes and Nany therefore spared, but Camilla and Tony, they're the real winners because they finished last. So 2 strong teams stay in the game, allow the Camilla meltdown of next week to ensue. But a weak team did end up going home in Thomas and Simone, even if it wasn't through the jungle. The real story is we did miss out on a potential epic challenge, especially since Tony hasn't gotten a lot of chances in the jungle, and Wes has struggled in recent challenges as well. I'm a little bummed, but at least 2 teams I like are staying. This is, through a technicality, Wes's first elimination win since the original Battle of the Exes with Mandy. He had lost 3 in a row, but the guy is now 12-5 in eliminations, including a ridiculous 5-0 showing in Fresh Meat with Casey as his partner, no less. Love him or hate him, Wes is a guaranteed future Hall of Famer, folks. Book it now. My last side note, MTV and its timing. Get it together, guys. This is ridiculous. We live in a DVR-based world, which means if I record something till 11 and your program goes long, there's 2 simple options to fix this. Have it programmed to go long, or finish the damn show on time, including the preview for next week. It's ridiculous to think a large chunk of your audience isn't watching this live necessarily. Don't punish them. Look, I'm not going to go full Camilla with this issue, but I'm going to have to do the legwork. I'm going to have to adapt and record this series a little longer in my settings from now on. And if I didn't know how to do that, then I'm going to miss out every single week. Look, I'm not mad at MTV, but it's disappointing. And the question now becomes, can the internet via MTV save me? And after the root canal that was trying to access this show through the MTV.com website on my iPhone, I realized I lost about 30 seconds of the episode. I mean, it's not much, it's 30 seconds, but it's the last 30 seconds. And frankly, I shouldn't have to miss this time. Shouldn't have to work hard to watch a show that I'm recording. The last 30 seconds, Camilla's skipping around with Nany, both avoiding the jungle. Wes gives the toast instead of bananas to celebrate, and everyone drinks to, well, Tom's girlfriend being okay, and Simone being gone, and I'll toast to that second point as well. As for next week's episode, well, we got Devin and Corey. Their beef is brewing. Didn't know it was starting. Cheyenne likes this side of Corey, though. Go figure. Tony's losing his damn mind with Camilla obviously involved, and an awesome-looking challenge called Road to Nowhere, with more apparent struggles for Jamie and Kellyanne. Here's hoping we get our third straight stellar episode.
The attraction between me and Emily is obvious.
I'm not gonna waste my time here on a stupid boy.
It's been a little tougher, and by that I mean work and research, admittedly, to nominate women for the Challenge Hall of Fame here at the Baker's Dozen podcast. Perhaps it's the fact that women are typically on the show less than the veteran guys. Perhaps there are less alpha females who win multiple eliminations and challenges. Perhaps too many different women have won challenges. Perhaps it's laziness and the fact that I'm a male. Fortunately, a deeper dive makes you appreciate the talent and achievements of several ladies on the cusp of joining the BDP Challenge Hall of Fame. Evelyn, aka Ev, she was a lock for the first female entrant. Ditto for Laurel Stuckey, going in second. Susie Meister at third was a fun pick, as well as a deserving one. Our fourth pick, an 8th overall member of the BDP Challenge Hall of Fame, is a physical freak and an elimination beast. Somebody that nobody wanted to face, Emily Schromm. Joining the MTV universe during the Real World DC, Emily has competed in only 3 challenges. but it's her dominance in these three that make her a lock for the Hall of Fame. 3 finals, including a win in Rivals 2, with longtime bridesmaid Paula, are only further enhanced when you see that Emily is 5-0 in competition challenges. That is, in the elimination round, she doesn't lose. Ironically, even though Emily, who is in ridiculous shape, look no further than her company's name, Unleashed Fitness. Look, she might be in peak physical form, but she is somebody who can play the game as well as anyone else. Maybe because she's open and honest, maybe because she's not afraid to lose. If you think I'm overselling her physical prowess, a simple YouTube search will fix that for you. She has elimination round victories, perhaps sometimes better defined as beatdowns, over the likes of Paula twice, Cara Maria, and Melinda. It's clear that Emily doesn't care who her competition is. It's about her. The only real bummer is she never went eye to eye with Laurel or Ev, the 2 fellow Hall of Famers she could have competed against. But to Emily's credit, she also finished a challenge during Cutthroat with Jen without any male partners. That's a true warrior, male or female. To be more serious for a moment, I've gotten a little flack recently for not mentioning Laurel's ugly behavior in past seasons, specifically to the likes of Paula, Cara Maria, who does seem now to be a friend of Laurel's, and they were partners during Rivals 1, but more noticeably were Laurel's disgusting comments to Big Easy during the Cutthroat season while in the hot tub. I'm not going to make that mistake with Emily, who did make a terrible decision involving blackface, and former DC Real World partner and relationship, Ty, on their season of Battle of the Exes. Look, it wasn't pretty, but it did seem an aberration against Emily's character. Moments like these, as petty and as cruel as they might be, they don't define these 2 women, though. Just as fights don't define CT, a Hall of Famer, Laurel cannot be defined by these single moments, nor Emily this one. Nonetheless, it's only fair to bring them up. Emily may have moved on from the Challenge universe in recent years, but in her short time, she became one of the top competitors, male or female, the show has ever seen. Emily was truly a physical force of nature, and someone who could play the game psychologically, getting along with the vast majority of the cast along the way. It's no wonder why Emily is the 4th female member inducted into the BDP Challenge Hall of Fame. And as we close out this episode, I realize that we've been spoiled the last 2 weeks because they've been 2 fantastic episodes. We did lose another team outside of the jungle, but there's plenty more battles to take place this season, I'm sure of it. It's been a busy few weeks for us here at the Baker's Dozen Podcast as well, so make sure that you're subscribed to the show, and that way you can keep up with us. Earlier this week, we broke down 10 TV shows to check out this summer on episode 10 of the 3rd season of our show, with 3 special guests who came on the show to talk about Mr. Robot, Preacher, and The Americans. We also discussed cult classics and favorites that are coming back this summer, like Orange is the New Black, Narcos, and plenty more. It's a quick listen, and trust me, you won't regret it. And make sure to keep connecting with us on social media too, as we wrap up our 3rd season over the next month. But we're also going to keep going strong with this mini-series that you're listening to right now, Rise to the Challenge. You can also expect plenty of special edition and quick hit episodes this summer as well. Next week, episode 11 of season 3, it's plenty of talk about the US Open as the golf world heads to Oakmont. And we'll have a separate episode with the 7th episode of Rivals 3, which airs next Wednesday, being broken down. And anytime Jimmy Wright comes in the studio, as he will to talk the US Open, you want to make sure you're listening. Busy as usual. It's just the way we like it here at the Baker's Dozen Podcast. We appreciate your consistent support and can't wait to be back at it next week as we continue to do our best to rise to the challenge.
If I could choose to start it over, I'd exercise more discretion. The lies are open, so nothing's so dead. Do you have good intentions? Come on, let go of those affectations. You don't fool anyone. Come on, let go if you wanted to go. The years will say what happened to you.
That you're talking to a wall.
Shut up. Oh, you're talking to a wall.
Shut up. Paula.
Be careful, Paula, because you're talking to a wall.
Paula, you're talking to a wall.
Camilla. You're going to make me truth her naked?
No, I'm just saying, Paula, don't get upset about what she says. You're talking to a wall.
Don't talk to me, because they're talking to a wall. Don't talk to me. Why is it doing this to me?
Johnny, you might be the voice of reason.
No. I'm going to make it worse.
Johnny.
I don't want to deal with that.
I
care about Camilla, but there are people in this house that should be handling her, like her partner.
You piece of you cheater!